Coming to this new year, 2024, I wanted to think about how I could best help you. And I thought about how I started. Like, how did I start my journey age 27? What was I thinking about? How did I begin? Well, I knew that I wanted to get wealthy. I knew that I had a desire to change my results that I was getting in my life. And so I started with books. At that time, I didn't know I was going to become an author, but I started with books and I gravitated towards certain books that really helped me. So I'm going to share with you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, eight books that I think you should read. And you should allow these to magnetize wealth in your life and allow them to change how you think about money, about finances, about wealth, and about prosperity. This is about getting a prosperity consciousness. It's about raising your own internal self-worth and understanding how to think about money, how to think about wealth, how to think about prosperity, light, abundance, and gratitude. And I think if you do this, you're going to have one of the best 2024s going. You're going to have one of your best years. And it's not just about best years. I don't want this to just be an annual ritual that we do where we go, now we've got to run off in this direction. I really want to help you. And that's why I think this is just something that will establish a lifelong pattern for you. That's why I thought about what would make the biggest difference. What would I start with if I was facing fear and darkness and doom and gloom and anxiety and worry, and I was like, my goodness, I don't want to be overwhelmed anymore. I just want things to go right. And I was starting to get into that victim mode. What would I do to change things? So let's kick it off. The first book I recommend you read is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. Now, I started with this, and it's a proven mental program to a life of wealth, and it will change how you think about wealth, but stick with it. It's so cool, this book. And I would say that this book influenced a lot of people that you'll be watching on Instagram and YouTube. A lot of people commend this book for helping them build wealth. And if you really journey back, and a lot of people I've interviewed talk about this book, and I got into this book over 10 years ago now, and I loved it. I really loved it, and I've read it. I reread it every year. I reread it as much as possible every year. Not just once a year, but I come back to this book and I let it allow me to change me. And I want to get deeper into this book because every time I come back to it, my self-awareness has grown. And so the words I'm reading have a new meaning. So this book changes as you change. So start off with this book, The Science of Getting Rich. It'll talk to you about how important thought is, how important your higher consciousness is, and thinking about how you attract these thoughts and these feelings and this thinking stuff, and how this thinking stuff can create wealth in your life. So The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, top book for you to get started with. It's a slim book, so you'll finish this. Aim to finish this in under a week. You should aim to finish this. Make notes though, and digest it. Really study it. I want you to start with this book because this is going to set the scene. Next, How Rich People Think by Steve Siebold. If you want to hear more about Steve, he was on my show, on my podcast. I was lucky enough to interview him a couple of years ago. And I got started with this book, at 27, got started. Don't be put off by the title, How Rich People Think, thinking that it's like something bad. Because rich people, like when we think of rich people, they're always depicted in movies as negative, as the villain, as the bad guy, as the bad woman, right? As hoarding wealth. How Rich People Think is nothing like that. So don't be put off by the title, the fact that it's got rich in it. Don't let that deceive you. This is a book that's going to show you, look, hundreds of millionaires have been interviewed for this book. They had nothing to gain by sharing their secrets and no interest in sugarcoating their advice. These people granted the author unprecedented access to their lifestyles and playgrounds such as Palm Beach and Aspen. They agreed to share their wisdom on the promise that their names and remarks would never be published, right? Steve mixes their wisdom and his words, and the result is the book is brutally honest and it will inspire you. So this will give you an understanding of a strategy of how rich people think, how they take action, and then how they get rich. And what does rich really mean? Rich is money, yeah, cool, it's money, but it's also a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle, it's an identity, it's a way you think about yourself. It's a way that you adopt habits and certain rituals and a standard that you allow yourself to have. It's actually an abundant state that you can live in, full of plentifulness and things happening through you, not to you. That's a key part of it. Things happening through you and not to you. So really take note of the lessons in how rich people think. And you'll see there's a lot of mental toughness involved. There's a lot of strategies for life involved. And Steve does a very good job of articulating those. The next one, The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. Really great book for thinking about the subconscious, right? The subconscious is really powerful because this is really your self-identity. And we need to influence ourselves and our self-identity. We need to raise it because we can never outperform our self-image. We can never outperform our self-image. And this book will help you understand that there's two minds. There's the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. There's the thinking mind and the deeper mind. And you need to influence your subconscious mind, the emotional mind, to be able to get what you want. Right? And when we understand more about our subconscious mind, we understand the patterns and the things that we need to remove, but how we can move towards influencing our subconscious mind to be the person that we want to become and act and live as that person. So this is a very good book for understanding just how powerful your subconscious is and the role that it's playing in your life. And why would we read a book like this? Well, we read a book like this because we want to be aware and develop our awareness of our subconscious so that we can understand what we're putting into our subconscious. And so we're going to see a lot of themes as I go through these books with you. The reason is we want to repeat some of these certain ideas to yourself because we want to make these suggestions to yourself, like auto-suggestion, like Napoleon Hill suggests in Think and Grow Rich. Auto-suggestion is the process of repeating certain ideas to yourself, making a suggestion to yourself so that it empowers your subconscious mind. And therefore, your subconscious can't dictate what is real and what is vision, right? And so therefore, if you start acting as the person you want to become, your subconscious is going to be influenced by that. And it's going, well, this is how we act now. This is what we do. These are the kind of ideas we take action on. So you've got to have the action as well. It's not just about having this subconscious mind of plentiful and abundance. And you've got to move on the ideas. But this will help you understand and expand your awareness of the power of the subconscious mind and then how to move through. This one, Think and Grow Rich, you're going to know this a lot. If you haven't read it, get into it. But if you have read it, get back into it because Bob Proctor spent like 50 years rereading this book. I think he got a copy in like 1970. He was still reading it up until the day that he transitioned right to the new world. But this book is fundamental because there is so much that's been distilled in this book that if you just keep rereading it, as I say, you'll be a different person approaching Think and Grow Rich each year. I have got many copies of Think and Grow Rich, but this was one that I've read back to front to back, and I will continue to read. And I know that there's more in this book that I need to understand and need to develop through my own awareness. So it's one that I will recommend to my kids, and it's recommended that you start with. Next, The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. Okay, this is basically you looking at wisdom. You looking at how to play the game of life. And as it says on the back here, Shinn established herself as a leading prosperity writer. And it's down to earth with practical, helpful suggestions. It's an easy read, right? It's going to give you an understanding of the spiritual guidelines and the framework to build wealth and happiness. So again, we're reinforcing, a bit like the science of getting rich, we're looking into that frequency side, the vibrational side, the thought, thinking, substance side. So another book that I just know is very aligned with prosperity, and it's a prosperity classic. T. Harv Eker, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. Great book, little power pack punch book. This one's falling apart. Look, you can see where I've highlighted pieces. It's literally every page, man, like got highlighted on, like it's wealth principle. If your motivation for acquiring money or success comes from non-supportive roots such as fear, anger, and the need to prove yourself, your money will never bring happiness. Right? So good. So if your money need comes from fear, anger, and the need to prove yourself, yeah, you'll get the money, but you haven't fixed the happiness root. You need to fix the root of happiness. Why is that? Because you need to be fulfilled. You need to focus on your fulfillment and your full potential. How do you fix happiness? Happiness is really just living in your full potential. It's the seeking of growth and pushing yourself to constantly pursue that every day, to want your full potential to be activated. Men who get rich may be the most honest men you'll find in the community. This is, I am a money magnet. I mean, I love this because the way it is the way it is, everywhere and always. I am an excellent receiver. We can all work on receiving. I'm open and willing to receive massive amounts of money into my life. So this will get you comfortable with the topic of money, but also giving and receiving money and being a good giver. How to think about money is not something that's negative, how to build prosperity and how to think of yourself. It's an inner game, right? It's an inner game when we talk about wealth. It's an inner game. Like, think about enthusiasm. Enthuse. It's the light within coming out. It's how you have that spirit and that light coming out. It's the same with wealth. It's an inner game and you must master it. The richest man in Babylon. These are great lessons. This is great. Great lessons. George S. Clason, like an amazing book. Really good for just the fundamentals of building wealth. What to do when you get the money, right? Because getting the money is one thing, keeping it's another. How do you get money? Well, you put yourself first. You've got to pay yourself first. How are you going to divide your money when you get that money? What are you going to put it into? How are you going to retain it? How are you going to go out and create money? How are you going to create partnerships? What are the laws? So this is the fundamental building blocks to money. And I think Richest Man in Babylon, like in this order, will have set you up. You'll be ready for it. It's a great story. And the way it's told will transport you. Listen to it on Audible as well. If you want to listen to the audio, this is the kind of book that you can listen to on as a tale and a fable, and you can just relax into it and really enjoy it. I read that book very quickly. All of these books you should read. You'll fly through. You'll fly through in January if you really want to, because apart from this one's a beast, because they'll grab you. And what we're wanting to do is repeat certain ideas and trends to yourself so that you're imprinting that on your subconscious mind. And we're getting you set up for success for 2024. And finally, The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. So this is the book that Andrew Carnegie actually commissioned Napoleon Hill to write. This is the books around it, and it was The Law of Success. Like, these are all of the laws. And obviously in 1937, Think and Grow Rich was born, but it was written after he wrote this. So this is a very good book for you to read, because this is the book that came from Andrew Carnegie through Napoleon Hill. The world is but a canvas to our imaginations. Henry David Thoreau. Like, again, you'll find places to highlight. It's really cool. Yeah, there's wisdom in these pages. There's wisdom here. First, form the habit of doing each day the most distasteful tasks first. This procedure will be difficult at first, but after you have formed the habit, you will take pride in pitching into the hardest, most undesirable part of your work first. Second, like, it's just good. Like, do not tell them what you can do. Show them. Third, tomorrow I'll do everything that should be done, when it should be done, and should be done. I will perform the most difficult tasks first, because this will destroy the habit of procrastination and develop the habit of action in its place. This is basically going to help you form good habits. Worry, envy, jealousy, hatred, doubt, and fear are all states of the mind that are fatal to action. So this will get you going, this book. And we'll end with that one. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books to set you up with wealth and prosperity, get you vibing higher, get your frequency up, helping you understand the power of the subconscious mind, your vibrational states, the light within you, and to build and fix that inner wisdom. Because it's a wealth game that starts within. This is the game of life, and I want you to win. But I want you to win in the right way, the win that will set you up for success forever, which is battling your inner self to become more, so that you're not fearful of money, you're not fearful of worry and doubt and anxiety. Because there's a lot of doom and gloom out there. There's a lot of negativity out there in the press, and it's there to kind of control you, there to keep you not taking risk, not leaning into those ideas that could change your life, but also see you in the fullest pursuit of your full potential. And that's what we want. As we go back to it, remember that happiness and fulfillment comes from us having a purpose, having the pursuit of our best selves. That's where you want to play. So when you're doing that, you're filled with light, and light has the power to dominate darkness a million times over. Like, it's light is so strong, and you have light within you, so be the light. Let's make this 2024 great. And I'd start with these 8 books to build your financial abundance, prosperity, and a better life. Let's go.